Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this Wednesday morning wake-up call. I hope your day is starting out great, and I believe this is one of the best ways to start your day out with some positive and personal development. And the call this morning, I'm really excited to introduce our speaker, Chris Smith from Oklahoma. He's just a great guy. You know, I've watched him, known him for 15 years, and he's the epitome of the chapter we're going to have today, and I'll talk about it later after he presents. But Chris, you know, he's a father, you know, and he's married and just very, you know, I've just loved watching him through the years raise his boys and run the youth ministry and just does a fantastic job. And he's going to go ahead and get us started with this call today. So, Chris, I'm going to give it to you to do this chapter.
Good morning. Well, thank you so very much for that, Patty. That was a wonderful introduction, and just love doing this call with you. Love this book. We're in Little Things That Matter, 100 Ways to Improve Your Life Today by W. Todd Smith. And we're doing chapter 50 today, and it just seems like I always get my favorite chapters every single week. So this week is Be Grateful for What You Have. And it says, part of enjoying life's journey is learning to enjoy what you have while pursuing what you want. And I promise you, I can stop right there. It summarizes exactly what you need. So I'm going to read it one more time now. Continue. It says, part of enjoying life's journey is learning to enjoy what you have while pursuing what you want. This is not easy when you feel like life has thrown you a series of curveballs. During these times, when you are feeling down and discouraged, stop and think about all the things for which you are thankful. Perhaps your life is not turning out exactly as you envisioned it would, but if you can see, you have it better than 40 million people worldwide who are blind. When you are crying in the shower about your problems, be happy you're standing in the shower because over 1 billion people don't have that ordinary convenience. Next time you want to complain about your job, just remember that there are 239 million adults who wish that they had a job to complain about. No matter how bad you think life is, stop to consider that you have it better than 775 million illiterate people around the world who wouldn't be able to read this book even if it was written in their native language. I love what Charles Dickens says. He says, reflect upon your present blessings, of which everyone has many, not on your past misfortunes, of which all people have some. If you will focus on the things that you're truly blessed to have rather than your problems or what you don't have, happiness won't seem so elusive. This change in attitude will improve everything: your career, your relationships, your self-esteem. It's almost impossible to advance in life moving forward when you're preoccupied with the problems you have and if you have a negative outlook. So that's the chapter today. It is rather short, but it's one of those things that you don't have to say a lot about. We know a lot about this subject. I will tell you, I do a training for our sales team occasionally, and I call it gratefully frustrated. An oxymoron, if you will. How can you be grateful and frustrated all at the same time? Well, guess what? We have to be, because if you're too grateful, as this, then you'll become complacent. If you're too frustrated, just like this chapter outlines very well, it'll cause all kinds of negative problems as well. So you have to have a good balance. You need a healthy motivation through frustration. You need to, go, hey, man, I didn't do as good as I did yesterday, but I want to do better today. We have to measure our shortcomings in a way. And I love the way the Bible and Jim Rohn, they kind of talk about this in a really unique way. So in Proverbs 6 through 11, it says, you people who don't want to work, think about the ant. Consider the ways and be wise. It has no commander, it has no leader or ruler, but it stores up food in the summer and gathers food and gathers it for the harvest. Lazy people, you just want to lay around. It calls them a sluggard. You want to sleep, take naps. So I love how Jim Rohn talks about this Bible verse. He says, be like the ant. In the summer, you got to think winter, winter, winter. Winter's right around the corner. I got to work. I got to get this food stored up. It's going to be cold before you know it. I'm not going to be able to go out. Winter, winter, winter. And then in the winter, the ant is like summer, summer, summer. It's right around the corner. It's almost there. Before too long, I'll be able to go back outside. Good thing I got enough food to last because it's almost summer. And that's the thought of the ant. And I think that gratefully frustrated, that balance that we have to have is well summed up there. So with that being said, Patty, I wanted to hear your thoughts on this, see what you had to say, and then I'll come back with the Little Things That Matter challenge.
Perfect. Well, Chris, the first thing, I didn't say it when I introduced you because I thought, well, I didn't want to take it in case you said it, but Chris is the epitome of this chapter, because whenever I call Chris, I say, how are you doing? He'll always say, I choose to be fantastic. And that, it just when I hear that, it makes me choose to be fantastic, and I tell people when they call, I'll say, I'll just say what Christmas says, I choose to be fantastic, because no matter how things are, life is a choice. And there were several things that I thought about when I read this. Just some things came to mind right off the bat, because it is a choice of how you wear it. But in 1988, I ran for county treasurer, and I ended up, losing, by 9 votes. I just lost, by 9 votes. And I was, in a pity party about it, knowing that I could have done just a little bit more. And there was a lady that I totally, admired. She was one of them that encouraged me. And she said, well, just remember, no matter how bad you've got it, this, somebody has it worse. And she, referred to me to Abraham Lincoln. She said, look at his career. He lost in Congress in 1943 and again or 1843 and again in 1848. And he lost his bid to become a U.S. Senator in 1855. And he ran for vice president in 1856 and lost. And he again ran for U.S. Senate in 1859 and lost yet again. She said, this is just the beginning. I was like, I don't think I can do that. But this was, in August of 1988, and she just encouraged me to run a write-in campaign. And I was pregnant. I was due September 5th. I was due for my middle daughter, and my grandpa passed away. I had my daughter, and we were told when she was born, she had some adrenal issues, and they said she's going to be, it's going to be very fortunate if she lives, the first 3 months or whatever. And I just chose to believe. I prayed over her and chose to believe that everything was going to be okay. In the meantime, my grandpa, who was my hero, was on his deathbed, and the night before he died, he said, if you run a write-in, you'll win. So going through everything we were going through with my daughter, I went ahead and decided to run that race. And 2 weeks before the election, and we won. And, that was like one thing. And I just remember talking to my grandma about it. Still had Lori and all of this stuff, thinking about what was going to happen. And my grandma, she said, this too shall pass, just like the election and how you felt. And with Lori, she said, just pray over her. And then when Lori turned, we got through everything. She was okay. Everything turned out because we prayed and we believed. And when we got to her being about 15 months old, she got spinal meningitis. And we were told that Lori would probably, by the medicine, be blind or deaf, more than likely. She was in a coma for, over 2 weeks. And I remember in the hospital, I was in this pity party. Why does this happen? Feeling sorry for myself. And then I heard this mother crying, out in the hallway. They'd been in a car accident, and she had 3 children. She'd lost 2, and her last one was intensive care. And I remember, I'll just never forget that the nurse that was sitting with me, trying to get me through my pity, she's like, just remember, no matter how bad you've got it, somebody's got it worse. And you know what? It just hit me. So when things go bad, that's what I think. That's what I go to all the time. No matter how bad it feels, no matter how life's hitting you, somebody's got it worse. be thankful for where you are. And I'm telling you, prayer help. My daughter Lori came out, with, she's just fine. She grew up just fine. Everything was just fine, not blind or deaf. But it was a big lesson, and it was something that really just affected my life to how my attitude is about things. So, Chris, I will pass it back to you.
Well, I will unmute my phone first. Yes, sorry about that. No, thank you for sharing those life experiences, and it's right on. It's, we have, just like Charles Dickens said, we all have a million things to be blessed and thankful for, and we all have problems and issues and some things to also choose to focus on. And that's exactly why I say I choose to be fantastic. I'm actually getting ready to make a shirt, and it says, I choose to be fantastic in real big letters, and then under it's going to say, what's the alternative? I mean, the alternative is the opposite generally, right? I choose to be negative. I choose to be frustrated. I choose to be miserable. I mean, no, I ain't going to choose that. It takes too much energy. It's a lot less energy and a lot more joyful. I promise you to choose to be fantastic. So the book, it sums it up here in the Little Things That Matters Challenge. It says, regardless of whether you think your life is a bowl of cherries or if it seems like you've been run over by a locomotive, take 10 minutes today, just 10 minutes, and make a list of everything for which you're thankful. Should be really easy, guys. We have so many blessings. And then it says, save this list, and when you find yourself feeling discouraged, reread it. Get ready to appreciate the magnitude of your own abundance. And then it says, no matter how bad you think life is, there's a million people around the world, there are millions of people around the world that would switch places with you in a heartbeat. And one last little tiny story. I have a mentor. His name is Andy. He's from Albania. And, man, my life lessons that I've learned from this guy has to do with exactly that. Being from another country, his parents saved up his whole life just so he could come to America, just so he could go to school, just because they knew if they could just get him from where he was to America, that he would have more opportunities and his life would be better. And being around someone like that has a hunger, that the immigrant's hunger, has changed my life. He's taught me things and repeated things, and I've heard Jim Rohn say it as well, but he's like, there's no other country with the word dream after it. The American dream is still alive. There are people that would trade, the richest people in some countries would trade everything they have just to be here on the streets, because they knew that if they could just be here, they could do better. They could have more opportunity. And we are very, very blessed to be here in America. And, you hear sometimes that 99% or, there's always this class warfare thing going on. And we always kind of put ourselves on the losing end of it, right? Because someone's always got more than us. Someone's always got more blessings or more money or a better car or a nicer house or whatever. But I'm telling you guys, we are the top 1% of the world. We are those people that we despise sometimes. We have more than most others around the world, and we are very blessed. And if we just remember that, and out of that abundance, give to others and love others and help take care of others, it will change our whole outlook and everything about our life. So with that being said, guys, I am done. Patty will unmute our call, and we'll all be able to say bye to each other. We thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, we get together Friday, same bat channel, same bat. All right, bye-bye, guys.
Thank you.
Yes, more blessings in America. Hoo-hoo, I'm happy I'm here.